Yep, you should have access now where you can share your screen.
Okay. Hi, Jose. Hi, Joel. Not sure. I might create the screen here.
Hello. Well, awesome. Well, I'll introduce you as we're starting off REI Genius community. We'd like to welcome Miss Jasmine Lopez tonight, who's going to be talking about cold calling, consistency, and appointment setting. And for real estate investors, that this is instrumental, and a lot of times this is one of the first hires that people have, is trying to outsource the cold calling, the marketing pieces, and bringing on those first individuals within their team to kind of help with these appointments. But it's the front end, it's the tip of the spear. Because if you're not generating leads, then you're not getting deals. And if you're not getting deals, then yeah, your business is going to suffer. So I'm super excited to pick up some tips tonight and to listen, just hear more about your story. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Oh, I see my director of operations is here, Aish. As I said, she's always somewhere around. Hi, Aish.
Hi, everyone.
So my company name is J. Lopez Enterprises, and we've been around since 2017. Initially in 2014, I had started a small company called Believable. Believable was a small branding company, and I landed the famous Tony Robbins. I worked with Tony Robbins for a full year on contract, helping him with branding and marketing alongside of his marketing team. It was really an interesting time. I was a nurse at that time, learning how to start my own business. I learned everything about business through Tony, going to all of his events and just absorbing the information, as well as working with his team on his stuff. That's why you can kind of see Tony now for $99 sometimes. That was our team who really instilled that in his marketing team, how important it was and how much money they were losing as a result of his cost being $5,000 and $10,000 a ticket. So after working with him, I came back to nursing, and I just had this inside of me that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And here we are. J. Lopez Enterprises was born in 2017. I was known throughout the country for car dealership marketing, recognized by Ty Lopez. Not sure if some of you know him, big marketer. I was one of his first students. I was invited to his home in Beverly Hills and recognized for growing my marketing company pretty quickly, having a lot of clients across the country. So from there, after working with car dealerships, I realized there was a lot of changes going on in the car dealership industry. General managers change every day. I started in the real estate industry. I started working with a few realtors, and here we are in 2022, working with over 40 agents across the country. We do have real estate investors. We are excited to start expanding our real estate investment, customers, clients coming this year. And that's probably why I'm here, because when you open it up to the universe responds, right? So let's talk a little bit about cold calling. So I told you a little bit about who I am, who this lady is. On Facebook, a lot of people know me as J. Lopez. I've had that name on Facebook for many years, and it works. I went to a cafe the other day and somebody recognized me. There are always realtors who recognize me, so it was pretty cool. A little bit about cold calling and the art of cold calling. And the reason why we started this was we identified a problem and my company provides the solution. And in business, that's really what it's all about, is what is the problem and see if you can solve it. And what we found is that most agents and most investors just don't have the time to do the cold calling. They don't have the patience to do the cold calling. Number three, they lack consistency. And number four, they just have bad data and they don't know it. So I'm sure some of you on the call can you can relate to one or two of these. And that's why cold calling is really important, because it is the driver. It's what spills your sales pipeline. It's what feeds all of us, no matter what industry we're in. So here's some myths, statistics, and solutions. Cold calling is ineffective 90.9% of the time, but it's often talked about 90% of the time in real estate, right? So if it's so ineffective, yet no matter who is talking about it, something's happening. It works. So then the next bullet point says, yeah, in fact, 78% of decision makers polled have taken an appointment or attended an event that came from a cold call. So how really ineffective is it? Less than 2% of cold calls actually result in a meeting. I like to say it's a numbers game. I think it's more than that. And I think it's what matters are the people who are calling. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. In 2007, it took an average of 3.68 cold call attempts to reach a prospect. Today, it takes about 8. And that is true. That is what we're seeing. We're seeing our conversions anywhere between the 8th and 12th call. A strong organization can generate up to 70% more revenue than an average organization purely based on the quality of its data. Each one of your businesses is an organization. But the success of this program and of cold calling is based on the quality of your data. Do you test one list against another and change it quickly? Most real estate investors, real estate agents, mortgage lenders, they don't. They just buy a list. Somebody gives them a list. They trust it. They call it. Doesn't work. Well, there really has to be a strategy behind your list and testing one against the other. Firms estimate that they can increase sales by almost a third, 29%, if their customer data was entirely accurate. It's a must. We have to work not only on the cold calling, the appointment setting, the consistency, but we have to work on the data. Where are you getting the data from and how good is it? Companies that employ consistent data hygiene create 700% more the number of inquiries and 400% the number of leads than those who do not. So don't just call, learn, understand, and test your data. So here are some keys to success when it comes to cold calling. You wouldn't, it's not so in-depth. Our hiring process when it comes to cold calling is very important. Before you go hire a company to cold call for you, you want to ask them, can you tell me a little bit about your hiring process? One of the things that we address in my company is the accent. I call it the elephant in the room. Most companies will not talk about that with you, or they'll just tell you, oh, no, they don't have an accent. They speak very good English. Yet, it's not true. And because of what we've experienced with people with an accent versus those that don't have an accent, we get better results, of course, with those without an accent because of where we are. We have to be, we have to address the elephant in the room. In America, people automatically think that you are selling them something, you're a telemarketer, and you're going to get hung up on. So how do we increase, improve our performance? That's how. Looking for people that don't have accents. The training inside of our business, and Aisha's here, so she can speak on that. We go to our ISAs, go to ISA University. It's 2 full weeks of orientation. They learn all types of cold calling. They have to do role playing, and they are on a pass-fail system. They have to pass. If they don't pass, they don't get a job. So they do get paid for training, but they may not pass and get a job. So that's very important. The way you treat your staff is also very important. Each one of us have had a job before, right? If you're not happy at your job, if you don't really care about your leadership, if you don't feel your leadership cares about you, how good of a job you think is really going to happen, right? And that goes for cold callers too. They don't work in an office. They work at home. They have to want to work for you. They have to want to produce results. They have to feel like I'm doing something special. And it's really hard for them. It's not easy to sit home and bang out calls all day for 8 hours a day. So I feel like the staff treatment is really the success of the business and the success of the cold calling. Performance reviews. This comes from my nursing background. It's life or death for me. You have to perform. You're going to get a review. Aish does that very well every quarter. Their raises are based on performance. Their bonuses are based on performance. We also do contests so they can make some extra money. And I'll show you a little bit about this. The other things is systems. What systems are we using? What systems are the cold calling company using to communicate with their team, to communicate with their clients? What is the process? What does the cold calling look like every day? How often? What times? How many leads do they call per hour? How many appointments do you think they can get? And communication, of course, is number one. Most things fail, and the reason is communication. So our hiring process, Here it is, over 40 applicants we take to fill one position. We don't play. They have to write essays, they get personality testing, they do intro videos they have to send to us. They also get 2 separate in-person interviews and 2 weeks of ISA training. So it's important to ask the cold calling companies. Most of them that I've worked with that have been mentored by me, they don't have this process, and this is the key to it. Okay, hold on, I had a video here. This is an intro video. I just wanted to bring this here as an example of somebody who speaks without an accent. And she is wonderful, and actually she's just recently hired with us.
My name is Jennifer Villagrasa, originally from Bacolod City, currently residing here in Iloilo City, Philippines, and I've been in the BPO industry for 13 years. I was a customer service representative as well as a typical service representative in the telecommunications accounts, namely Sprint, Kodiak, Time Warner Cable, Mediacom Cable, way back in 20.
So there's an example of someone that we would hire based on an accent. Now, not all.
My name is Jennifer.
Now, if the accent is all well and good, but their energy, their personality testing also has to pass. So I don't want you to just stay focused on that, but she's an excellent person. She's high energy. She has good work ethic. She has a why to show up for work. And that's really what matters to us. Treatment and staff training matters. And here's an example. Most of these cold callers don't have a water cooler. We have one. And Aish motivates our team every morning with some motivation. And as they start punching in, they start saying good morning. We have manners, right? We say hello in the morning, and that's just culture. It's creating a company culture, and that's important. The other thing we do, like I said, is we hold contests. So this is just one of our groups that the leadership had them do a contest, who can get the most number of appointments for their client in a week. And Jovi from this team won and deposited some money in his bank account. You know, so that's really what it's about. It's about the company taking care of the cold caller. The cold caller will take care of the client. And we're seeing results. We're, like I said, we continue to grow because of, I believe it's because of this and our training. Also the calling process. Here's an example of a real estate investor's leads list. This is a high equity list that we call. You'll notice that we call each phone number. So phone number 1, phone number 2, phone number 3. We document specifically on each lead. And then when we get an appointment, we'll document the details and send the details over to our client via an app called Slack. Not sure if you guys used it, but each one of our clients has access to us 24 hours a day. They have their own channel and they get to communicate with us about their leads. So this was a hot seller lead potential for an investor. It's on his sheet. It's also sent to him inside of Slack, and the kill is in the follow-up. So you'll see here, these are leads. Eric is a lead, Ashgar is a lead, Carmen is a lead, Eric is a lead right here, but you'll see that Marcos is following up and saying, I spoke to Eric, he wants to hear an offer, right? And then here he's following up. John, our client, is responding, definitely not worth $650K. I'll have my Spanish speaker partner call her. And here John's talking about Eric and he says, this one could be a good one. Good job in the following up. I'll call him tomorrow. So it's really, that's what we always say, the kill is in the follow-up, right? Making sure that we're following up with each and every lead. Here is leadership, Aish saying great work. And, you know, that's really what they want, is to feel like their work matters. And here's some daily communication. We send reports every day to our clients so they know how many leads were called and what happened with each lead. Were they hot, warm, trash, nurtured, voicemails, no answers, wrong numbers, and what the total number that were called for that day. Now, everybody buys different hours packages. Some of our clients have us calling for 2 hours a day, some 4 hours a day, some 8 hours a day. We also have clients who want 7 days a week. So it's just different packages and different prices to work with us. And you'll see that often John answers emails and he'll just give some advice like, go back to row 1544. Let's recall those numbers that didn't answer. This is all the Elizabeth and Elizabeth Port numbers. So it's really the area that he is looking for properties in. And having the ability to direct your cold calling team is also very important. Having access to your cold calling team and making, we know our cold callers who get results, and that performance evaluation is very important to us because we want to keep our clients, and the longer we keep our clients, the better and more people they'll refer to us. And then that's it. That's really it. That's really the nuts and bolts of cold calling. Being consistent and setting appointments for our clients is really our goal. Anybody have any questions?
I do. I do have great. There's a lot to unpack right there when it comes to like really the leadership and everything, as well as like vetting on your cold callers and cold calling companies. But I remember a few like sometime when we first met, we kind of talked about like how you are pulling leads from different resources. I think the reason why we met was that when I was looking for a deal in Georgia, remember that time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious to know, how is the system in terms of like, I mean, what would you advise to those who are just getting started and they're wanting to go for leads and pull up their leads? What are the different resources that you can advise in terms of like, I don't want to buy leads list yet? Yeah.
So most of the investors specifically come to us with, batch leads, for instance. No lead generation or lead list company is really better than the other. The key, because the reason I say that is because it all is dependent on location. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to use one list from batch leads, one list from another, and compare them to see, are we getting more bad numbers with this list that comes from batch leads versus the list that comes from this company? Because they can be very strategic. They're a business. They're looking to make money. They're going to sell you leads no matter what. But you don't know if they're going to be good or not unless we test them. So with us, we use a lot of Red X leads. We find success with those when it comes to the real estate agent side. Every real estate investor, though, to be honest, always has their own leads when they come to us. They always come with their own list. Oh, don't worry, I have my own list. So we always start off with their own list, and then we start suggesting, let's go to this company and pull a list, and let's compare it to the list that you sent us. Because sometimes they pull lists from people on Fiverr. They're buying lists from somebody who inboxed them for $100, and you really don't know what they're getting. And that's why we're not getting appointments. We know our callers can get appointments. The high equity leads are doing well for our client, John. We're not going to touch that because it's doing well. So it's just a matter of time and testing and finding the right list. Like
Right.
some clients come with PropStream too. There's so many lead providers. It's just a matter of.
Do you have like a personal favorite that you would recommend for real estate investors?
Like I said, it depends on location. So
Location. Okay.
Yeah. So like if you're in Alabama versus like New Jersey, the list is going to be different regardless because of the population, the density of the population. We're probably going to get a better list in New Jersey because of the population density than we are in the middle of Kentucky. Right. So and the same thing happens with us when it comes to FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosures. It all is location dependent. One of the recent, I'm going to be looking into working on, have you ever heard of Privy? Privy is a new system that's out that we'll be looking into.
Okay, no, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's new.
It's very new. It's powerful. It's growing. I'll give you an update on how it works. I'm gonna be meeting with them tomorrow, I believe, to go over how to use the system, because you could zone into zip codes using their software. So we'll see. And I'm not really like, I don't want to say like, I know that we're going to be able to pull leads from them. It's just a new real estate investment software. So I want to see what it's all about, and I'll let you guys know, definitely.
Nice.
I've had previous for a few months, and I'm just starting to use it. It's very helpful. It uses activity, it uses buyer activity, where buyers have been buying it, and you can find your buyers list from that particular location. You can comp properties based on the sold properties that are sold in a particular area. So it's a great tool.
Oh, got it. Okay, I heard you. Got it. Okay, well, I'm glad. I'm gonna take a look tomorrow. Let's see.
100, right?
Yeah, right up here on the stop sign is great.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Yeah, I think somebody has a hot.
Oh,
That would have been bad.
right.
There we go. Sorry about that.
That's
I
okay.
got a hot mic.
That's okay. No worries. So yeah, if there's any more questions or whatever, I'll take them.
Yeah, no, I think that was a great overview, because I think a lot of people, they don't necessarily for one, they don't understand the leverage and the untapped market with virtual assistants and being able to outsource cold calling. That is just, I think a lot of people that aren't in the industry, they just haven't been exposed to it. So I think that was really cool, just kind of seeing the process, the hiring process that you all go through in order to make sure that you have quality people that are in there, the culture that you have within the organization, that goes a long way to deliver results.
Listen, I have trained half of the owners of other virtual assistant companies were mentored by me. It is the key to success. Most people who start cold calling companies were marketers before and they failed at it. So then they go start, the easiest thing to do next is to start a call center, because it sounds great and it sounds big and it's amazing. But the one thing most of these young men and women don't have, that I feel that I have, is the work experience, you know, the professionalism, the understanding, emotional intelligence, hiring the right people, and really caring about results. We don't have contracts. That's the other thing, because we don't need them. When you provide a quality product and you do good work, your clients stay. And that's why I tell most people, steer away from anybody that says they'll put you on a contract. Because 90% of the time, it's because they're just locking in their revenue. They're not looking to produce. Now, somebody like me, I say no contract, we got to work to keep you. So,
Right.
you know, that's what I feel makes us you know, different and stand out from other companies, is that we actually care. I mean, Aish is off the clock and she's here.
Now, are you all looking to outsource outside of just cold calling? I know I see the Facebook and IG and YouTube ads on the banner. Is that kind of a service that you all offer as well too, for like investors?
Yeah, we do. There's brand awareness campaigns. I mean, we've had investors that really invest their time creating content. The key to attracting motivated sellers, attracting people that are getting divorced, attracting people who are trying to sell their parents' estate that, you know, they just passed away, is really attention. And like Tony Robbins says, if you win in the game of attention, you win in the game of business. And those who learn how to gain attention will gain more business. And how do you do that? You have different avatars. You can't have one message and have it resonate with 3 different types of people that are trying to sell their house. So what I did with one investor was he created videos for 3 different audiences. The motivated seller video, did you just recently get divorced video, and I'm so sorry your parents passed but you're looking to sell your house video. And what we did was the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram picks up on what is being said. So as you know, you may say something and then all of a sudden you see an ad and you're like, oh, they're listening to me. Well, that's exactly what happens. If you're on the phone talking to your friend and you're like, my dad's house, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. and you have a video running, when they go check their Facebook status, your video is going to pop up for them. And imagine you chasing them around the internet, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, constantly teaching them what to do with that property and gaining the know, like, and trust. Now, it does take investment money. I'm not gonna lie. We have to run at least 3 videos per target, per avatar, and start building the audiences for about 90 days. But then after that, that's when the curiosity kicks in of that person. They're like, you know what? This guy's been really telling me some good info. Like, oh my God, he's in my area. That's weird. They'll send you a message. They'll send you their phone number. Do me a favor, call me. I have a question. And we do this with private equity clients that find $100 million investors. And all we have our private equity clients do is just talk about Airbnb, free IPOs, companies on the stock market, teach until the investors go, let me give him my money because he's smart. But that's how you build the organic leads. That I can probably tell you 99% of investors are not doing it that way.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a area that we're looking to expand as we launch a private equity fund this year, especially based in the DC area. And
Yes.
I think there's a lot of opportunities with wealthy clients to teach them how they can invest their capital and diversify outside of Wall Street in the stock market. So
I say it all the time. There's tons of, I was a nurse. We used to talk about it at the unit. Like, does anybody know about home investing? And nobody knew. I don't know. I think my friend does it. Doctors, surgeons, they are not aware of this world that me and you live in. It's just not part of their everyday thing. It's kind of like not cool, you know, but then when the one doctor does it, then all the doctors follow behind. Like, what are you doing, buddy? Where'd you put your money? So it makes total sense, especially if you're speaking to physicians. They keep their money in the bank, like literally. That's all they know because that's what they're taught. So
100%.
Right. I like that you actually touched the KLT part earlier. You kind of touched on it a little bit. But I guess that's really a very important part when it comes to like going through your leads and the acquisitions process, as well as on the raising capital when it comes to investors and gaining businesses and clients. Can you talk more a little bit about that? The know, like, and trust part. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier.
yeah,
And how important it is in a business.
Yeah, I mean, I started branding myself in 2017 on Facebook, and there's people who will ask me, like, how's Jada? How's Deandra? I've never met them. They know my kids' names. That's the know, like, and trust. You have to be able to give it all away and open up. That's how you build it, right? And let them know, you know, what it is that you do. Most people don't even know what you do that are the closest to you. And that's a sign that you're not building the content based on know, like, and trust. And it's so important because strangers will support you faster than people that know you. So with video, it works. All you do is kind of like, first video is an introduction. We run an introduction video, local market. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you help solve a problem? That's the first video. Then we run the second video and we just keep building on top and retargeting constantly until they feel like they know you. They'll follow you on social media. They'll get to like you, trust you. And it takes 7 times on average for somebody to see you before they decide to work with you or buy from you. So yeah.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, Gilmore, how are you?
Good. Can you tell me what you think about GPT? I know this is coming really heavy in some states now. And it's very interesting to see when probably we're gonna get more of those, of that software here.
Yeah, so GPT in the marketing world, in our world, is very big. And the reason why it's big is because we hire copywriters inside of our marketing companies to help write the cold emails, to help write the marketing, to help with campaigns and advertising and brochures and stuff like that. But where it's going is pretty scary, and they're trying to slow it down because it's almost like AI is going to take over our ability to even think. You know, like we won't have to think. We'll be able to just ask the chat, ask the GPT, you know, app and say whatever it is, ask questions. And so that's why it's being banned in schools, because you can basically have it write a paper for you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane,
Yeah.
but I think it's powerful, and it can help. It can help those that really don't want to write or don't have the time to write. You know, you can literally say, like, we've tested it, like, write a script to a home buyer for a phone to call a home buyer, and it'll write the script. Then you can say, can you turn that script into a text message? It'll turn the script into a text message. Can you now write an email to the buyer with the same script? It'll turn it into an email. You don't have to think anymore. It'll do it for you. So I feel it's beneficial for business.
Have you seen it already, like how it works, or?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Mm,
Yep. So all marketers, like my friends have big marketing companies, they like to use it a lot because they're coaches. They do a lot of coaching stuff in marketing. So everything is copywriting for them. Everything.
You think that is gonna is gonna be used instead of VAs later on?
I don't think it'll use instead of VAs, but I think it will replace a lot of positions. We'll still need VAs, but it'll replace, like right now, people hire email marketers, they hire copywriters. You won't need them because GPT does the email writing and the copywriting.
Yeah.
You kind of need somebody physically to send the email, but the writing, you know, Facebook ad agencies like mine, that we just do it for real estate lenders and real estate agents and investors. That's easy copy. But when you're doing Facebook ads for coaches or Facebook ads for products, you have to know what you're doing. And they have copywriters, full-time positions, 6-figure salaries just to write copy. They'll be replaced.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
No, that's a great question. I think there's a lot of industries looking at how they're going to be impacted by the new technology.
Yes. Yes, I'm sure. That's why I always make sure in the store I go to the person at the register. I don't go to to the swipe and, you know, check out on your own. I feel bad. I'm like, people are losing their jobs everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's facts.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. For you know, with you all having so many clients, do you guys see kind of certain lists that investors have more success on than others?
That's why I wish I had a good answer. I can't lie. It's all based on location. So
Okay.
if I notice we're not like, let's say Virginia, you give me a list and I ask you it's from, and you're like, oh, I got it from Batch Leads. We'll be like, why does your list doesn't produce like the one in Florida from Batch Leads? It's location dependent. So then I'll tell you, you know what? Go to PropStream and grab a list and let's see, you know, what they're sending, what data they're pulling. And it can turn out to be better. And we've seen that happen.
Well, that depends of the filters that they put on the list as well, though.
Yes.
You know, you have to be like very detailed for
And
you to get you.
yeah, and you know, all that high equity, motivated sellers, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe any of it. Just get a list. Just tell them, just put me a list. I don't care. It's because it's the same. They're selling you the same names they sold to somebody that on a high equity list. It's not high equity as much as they say it is, but it's fancy enough to sell it, to say they're selling. You know, oh, we have high equity, we have motivated sellers, we have divorcee leads, but we'll never make a call and say, hi, did you just get divorced? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you looking to sell your house?
So what list do you recommend right now?
See, these companies, they'll like John, for instance, our investor, he pulled a list high equity. I don't really know if it's high equity. We're just calling people to see if they're interested in selling their home. We don't ask.
Yeah.
"You have
Yeah, I mean,
high
yeah. Mhm.
So they just have fancy names. I just think, like you said, it's the filter and
Mhm.
location. So if you pull one list, I would say ask every company, you can ask for a test list
Mm.
for free. So be like, we just asked for rent by owners test list today from a company. Because we want to call those people that are looking to rent their properties and ask them if they would be more willing to sell, since renting is a headache.
Instead, yeah. Mhm.
So this company started for rent by owner, by owners, and we want to check and see if those lists are good before we start giving them our business. So they're giving us a couple thousand leads for free.
Okay. Yeah, because I
I
think one
think
of the
we,
things. Oh, go ahead, Faye.
no, I was just gonna say we have a great question from Jose, and I think the first, he asked his first question: how do you talk to people who answer but are extremely rude when you talk in a nice tone? I think this is one of the biggest challenge. Is the first call.
Yeah, so if they're extremely rude, we have not introduced who we are yet, because that's the one thing we don't do at the beginning of the phone call. It's kind of like we just say, hello, we're calling and we're just checking in. We happen to find your name on our list. How's your day today? We kind of cut the ice right away, because everybody's waiting to be sold to. So how's your day going? I'm just a normal person. And if they get rude with us right away, we don't take the abuse. I don't want to hear from you. Okay, no problem. We're just calling to say hello. Bye. We let them hang up. But we
Mhm.
teach our cold callers, how to handle objections. And there's all types of objections. Over time, we've heard them all. But the rude ones, you know what? You don't want to work with them anyway, because they're not going to be the easy ones who want to sell their house. That's really, there's no point in really trying to convince them if they don't want to hear it. So
Yeah, agree. Can you tell us a little bit more about I guess the most common objections that you've heard, and as well as the not so common objections that you've heard?
So the common ones are always like, I don't think I want to sell it right now. They always say that. I don't think I want to sell it right now. And we ask our cold callers to just probe, can you tell me a little bit more about not wanting to sell right now? What is it about right now? And always asking open-ended questions to keep the conversation going. Always listen more than you speak, because people will tell you their story. You just sit there and listen. And then, you pick out the fine details and you offer them something. Have you taken a look? Have you given someone an opportunity to give you a price for your home? I mean, there's nothing to lose, right? You say yes or no. And you kind of open the door to being comfortable. The other thing we like to do is hire women for real estate investors, because most of the men are calling. That's just an internal feeling for me, because in 2017, I had a property that I was on pre-foreclosure myself. And I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't tell anybody. I was a nurse. I didn't know anybody in real estate. I was going to lose my house. I had rented it out to tenants and they weren't paying the rent, and I couldn't cover both. And I was getting these men like, hi, my name is Mark. Just calling. You want to sell your house? And I was like, who? Oh my gosh, no, don't call me back. Meanwhile, I really needed to sell my house, but I was so scared by the way people were approaching me, and I was already brokenhearted that I was about to lose my property. Nobody really came across as caring and wanting to ask me questions and try for me to keep my house. Maybe try to help me keep my house first before you buy it from me. Because I probably would have sold it anyway, because I couldn't. If you would have looked at my mortgage, I think I was like $40,000 back, and back then I didn't have that. So you would have ended up buying it anyway. But nobody approached me from the help side.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It
very
was
true.
like they wanted to buy my house right off the bat, and I'm like, wait a minute, but what if I want to try to keep it? And they were all like, well, are you working with? I don't even know what you're saying, sir. Like, They would talk so fast, like I was a realtor. I didn't even know what they were saying. So I say we put women to call and really care on the phone. That's what we do.
That's what I told you last time. Actually, I start faking the voice already.
He plays a woman role on the phone.
Hello. Yeah.
I guess it's because there's a logical, a logical and slash biological explanation to that, because women are biologically designed to be caring, like, ever since we are carrier of life. So it's an innate nature for us to just really care with people. And however, I want to give credits to man and on the other side, or when it comes to on the part of the sale, when it comes to the logical decision. So there's the emotional part in the beginning, right? When you're doing the marketing and everything, to the conversion part. But when it comes to closing, I guess this is where the man plays a powerful part too, to give balance to these elements. But to your point, I totally agree with the other call callers that I work with as well. Women converts more. And that's by no means talking about, one side versus the other, who's better or not. But it's just, I think it's just how we respond, or how we naturally respond to it, and how it's natural for women to be just really, more emotional than the other one. But okay. How about so there's the objections. Now let's talk about a little bit about the common mistakes of business owners, or slash, the people who actually come into you and get your services.
So the common mistakes when they come to me.
Yeah, the common mistakes, like in terms of it could be the mindset, it could be the systems, it could be their viewpoints on things, or it could be like how they see where the pain point is in terms of the approach to these sellers. Like which part of these you think is the most overlooked
So
when
I
it
think
comes
that,
to
I feel like most of the investors that come, it's just cut and dry with them. Like, oh, I just have a list and I need you to call it. They forget that these are people, right? And I think that's the nursing side of me that realizes that these are people that are in trouble, some of them. And it's not just a list to me. Like, you're giving me a big job to call people who are hurting, potentially hurting, especially when they say the divorce list, the motivated seller list. The motivated seller is not really a motivated seller. It's really somebody that had a problem, or that can't afford to keep their home, or is living in shambles and doesn't know what to do. It should be really called the pain list, So, so that's what makes it that much harder with the cold calling. They're not warm, they're cold, and they're people in problems, having issues. So you kind of have to, it's not, I'm not going to get you 4 appointments a week with a list. It's not like that. It's more like 4 to 10 a month. And that's crossing our fingers when it comes to these lists. That's our team's goal, is to get 4 to 10 appointments for our hosts, for our investors every month, and hope that one turns into a deal. But yeah, they come to us with like, oh, this is just a list, like here. And to us, it's just people's personal information that we're calling on. So we don't take it lightly. And that's what I teach our cold callers. Like, it's people, be nice to them, understand, listen. And that's the easiest way, is to just be a good human, to turn a cold person into a warm lead. So yeah.
great advice.
Thank you.
Do you use a script?
We train every week. So our ISAs come to training every Tuesday at 1. We try not to use scripts because, like I said, it's a conversation. It's hello, how's your day? Good morning. How are you doing? And by the way, I don't want to take too much of your time. but we realize that your name is on our list, and thank you for allowing me to call you. I just have a question. Have you been thinking about selling your house over these past few months? How can I help you make that easier for you? From a real caring perspective, that voice has to sound like a heart, you know, versus, hey, I see your property at 52 Garibaldi is on my list, and do you want to sell it? You know, it sounds very different. So we try not to script, but we do role play. So they role play with me sometimes, and I'll just become a difficult person. Like, yeah, I was thinking about selling, but I don't know. And then they have to probe more information from me, you know, or, well, I mean, before I book an appointment, let me see let me talk to my husband. You know, that's the other one. Let me talk to my wife. What if you talk to your wife and your wife says it's okay to speak to us? Oh, well, then I'll speak to you. But what if she says no? Will you still speak to us? Right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just, those objection handling is fun. And we have fun on the fake calls. And then we listen to recordings, because they'll text us in the chat like, oh my God, I got the objection, Jasmine. Go listen to how I did it. Tell me how good I was or how bad I was. We always give feedback right in the moment, because I can pull up all the calls.
Nice.
Yeah. I actually enjoy
Sounds
it. I don't
fun.
know. Cold calling isn't as cut and dry as, you know, as it sounds. You know, it's actually fun to call strangers and turn them into deals. You know, when you get the deal, you get excited.
Yeah, and I think that approach, if you go in it with the people approach and understanding that the people have problems, and you actually want to know their story, what their pain point, their challenge is, and seeing, hey, how can I help solve this person's problem and add value to them, that it stops you, one, from taking it personal when people hang up on you or you get cursed out and all that stuff, because you're just one phone call closer to helping somebody, you know, that's potentially in a bind, that's stressed out, and you're actually providing a resource to them with that. Because I tell people as an investor that I never bought a house where, you know, taking somebody's house that they didn't want to sell, that a lot of times that the sellers, they're more happier than you are that you're buying, that you're done. They're done with some emotional baggage, something that's been a burden to them, and they're ecstatic that you could take that off their hands and kind of do it in a simple, straightforward, non-hassle way. They definitely view this as a benefit and as a true service that investors provide to the community when you do it the right way.
Exactly. I used to get all those mailers from all the investors. the letters, the written letters, I used to get those too. Now I look back and look at the industry I'm in. How funny is that, right?
Yep.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's what those letters were. Buy your house cash.
Yep, a whole new world.
Yeah. So I'm glad I went through it though. I ended up short selling my property.
Okay.
I'm glad I went through it, because now I'm on the other side, you know? So I'm able to have like compassion, empathy for those people. We actually do pre-foreclosure calls. Those are my favorite. People really looking for help, and we find equity in there. We just found a lot of equity in one property in California. So the son didn't have a clue what he was doing with the parents' property, and found tons of equity, and he only owed like $100,000 to the bank. He didn't know his parents weren't paying. It was crazy. So, well, we're actually going to be able to help. They're going to be able to sell the property, but we're able to help them. You know,
How would you approach to the pre-foreclosure or, you know, seller? Do you let him know that that his house is almost been taken? Do you let him know?
yeah, they are looking for help. And the cool part is that I partnered with a real estate recovery group, and what they do is with us is, once I get a lead, I send the lead to the real estate recovery group. They speak to them. They try to help them as much as they could. They speak to the bank. They find out the fine details of the situation. And then they report back to me and my client, what can be done with this property? Is it one that can be bought by an investor? Is it one that should be short sold and listed? Does it have equity? Is there a refinance opportunity? Our clients don't have to do anything. Literally, it's the easiest. This recovery group, that's what they do, because at the end of the day, what's in it for the recovery group is if they list this, if they confirm with the bank that they can short sell this property, this group gets paid by the home buyer. It's amazing the service that they provide. So I send them the lead, they do the investigation, calling the banks, calling the owners, figuring it all out for them. If they can help them keep the house, they tell them this is what you should do to keep your house. And if they can't keep their house and they're going to lose it and go to foreclosure, they'll say, why don't we do a short sale? I'll get it approved for you by the bank.
Yeah, I'm asking because I had a call that was like 2 months ago, maybe 3, that it was a pre-foreclosure. And first his father and of the owner answered the phone and he said, yes, he probably wants to sell because he got a lot of problems. So I'll go back later. I talked to him. Well, the father told me that he was on pre-foreclosure. He confirmed that, So when I talked to the owner, he was, I tried to helping out, try to see the easiest way for him to understand that we can help. But he didn't want to sell it all. He was like, I don't care. I just let it be. I don't want more paperwork. I'm just gonna let the bank take my house, whatever. I'm like, really? I mean, we can help you. And at the end, we couldn't do anything. I mean, they took his house. I found out that they took his house. I mean.
Yeah, because they think they can live in there for years and years and years. They don't realize it's going to be taken from them. So they try to milk it as long as they can. And they end up losing it when they could have sold it.
Yeah. Now he ended up with a bad credit and all that, So.
I know. That's scary. But some people just don't care. Then you know why they haven't paid their bill.
That's true.
True.
I wish I could live like that. That'd be don't care.
I'll try. But
Yeah, it's difficult. Maybe you
I
need
guess I just have one of the last little questions for you, Jay. So how can people get in touch with you? Where can they find you? And yeah, where can they find you and follow you, social media handles and a website perhaps, or contact information where we can reach out to you?
Sure, it's jlopezenterprises.com is my website. And then I'm J Lopez Enterprises on Instagram, on Facebook as well. So yeah, and
Easy to understand. I mean, easy to remember.
that's it. Yeah, I didn't make a fancy name for my company because I remember Tony Robbins saying, if you know you're going to provide a good service, you use your name for the rest of your life. So I stuck with it. It's my name. I can't run from it. And most marketing companies,
it's your brand now. Yep.
Yeah, they start out with like so-and-so media, and then they end up another name a couple years later because their reviews were terrible. So I can't run from mine.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, how rude. My name is Gilbert, as you can see there, but I'm in Jersey though. I'm a wholesaler. I'm an investor as well. So I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself before I start talking.
I just met Gilmer like a couple of days ago.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It was this weekend, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be going to one of his events.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Yeah, you're gonna provide a lot of info there.
yeah.
A lot of James.
Yep, should be fun. But thank you guys for bringing me in. I really appreciate it. And anything else I can do in the future, I'm here. And vice versa, if you guys need to get the word out, I have a large following as well. I interview in my Facebook group and on my Facebook. So I'd love to have you guys.
Yeah, most definitely. Let me know. I'm always looking to spread the gospel of just real estate investing and teaching investors how to raise private money for their deals, and yeah, and just building portfolio cash flow and portfolios.
I love it. I need to learn more and do it myself. I already
You
have
will, you will, you will.
I always say I already have the callers that can call for me. What am I
Right.
waiting
Exactly.
100%.
for? That's the hardest part, right?
Yeah. What market do you live in?
New Jersey.
Ooh.
Oh.
There's still some opportunities in Jersey.
I'm in Jersey too. You're fine. You'll
That's
find
why I
it.
tell people there's opportunities everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just with some of the states, the rental laws are a little bit more slanted towards the tenants and residents, whereas that, you know, they can stay for a long time without paying, and it takes a lot to evict them. So it's just things like that you have to balance. But no, there's real estate deals everywhere. As you already know, you got clients everywhere. So
Yeah, yeah. And I live in the west, like northwest of New Jersey. There's opportunity out here because a lot of the investors in the south and out east of New Jersey, they don't want to come out here because I live in the woods.
got you.
Where you guys are located?
My what?
No, where Johnny and Sai are located.
You're in Virginia, right?
Yeah, so I live in the Northern Virginia area outside DC, but we buy across the state of Alabama, where I'm originally from, and then in Panama City, Florida. And so both single family and multifamily.
So I'll find you guys on Facebook by your names.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to connect with a lot of people.
Yeah, no,
Sure.
most definitely. That's what this is all about, and what the REI Genius community is all about, building a community of people
Oh my God, I'm so
Build-
sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah, but yeah, building a
You're good.
community of people that are looking to invest in real estate, learn different pieces of the business. Just like tonight, we're talking about marketing. I'm gonna do a workshop tomorrow night talking about how to raise private money. With
Yeah.
your
Cool.
existing network.
Mhm.
And so it's just really just sharing a community of all the investors here, just different parts around the United States, and just putting it all together where people can start building up cash flow and get their freedom back, and and create time freedom through passive income. So that's what I'm a huge proponent of with just empowerment. So
Okay. Sounds good.
Have a Facebook group?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I do have a Facebook group, but the primary group, REI Genius, is offline. We have we're on the Mighty Network.
Okay.
Is kind of the app that we use for the community outside of Facebook. I was getting frustrated with the Facebook app with the group because like only a few people would see the notices, and it would just be a challenge. And you get lost. People have like hundreds of Facebook groups they're a member of, and they're like, well, yeah, I never check my groups, and so I decided to just kind of go offline with our community on the Mighty Network, and they can get email notifications, and then it's just go on the app, and then everything's right there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is it a paid group?
Yeah, it's $27 a month, and then I give people seven days free. Just kind of come in, look at all the recordings, the workshops that we do, the virtual events, networking, and things like that, and see if it's a good fit.
Is it good
How
for
do you guys
That's
go?
nice.
Is it good for people starting out, or is it more like high level investors?
More so starting out. I coach and teach people how to essentially get their first deal in the next 90 to 120 days. And I've taken my systems and pretty much put my business in a box, and I teach that. And then we're rolling out a small multifamily. We've bought 6 small apartment buildings under 40 units last couple of years. And so just kind of teaching that process from finding the deals all the way through asset management. And
Cool. Send me your link. I'll join.
okay, yeah, I'll
Awesome.
definitely send you the link, and yeah, and look for opportunities where we can partner up as well too. I'm always looking to align with great operators across real estate, in the different fields. So
Yeah, cool. I already sent you the request, friendship. So
Okay, awesome.
Yep, and we're looking for, I mean, I would say the community that we have in REI Genius is a mix, but they are, everyone is just really working to push each other in terms of getting the goal. And
But-
that's, I've been into different groups, but so far REI Genius has been the warmest when it comes to not just talking about the business and everything. People here connect. So that's what I really like about it. Connect, but at the same time going towards the goal and hustle. So that's the
Yes.
beauty of it.
I love it. I want to get my first property I mean, I own my home, but
Okay.
I want to, my daughter's 22, so this year I'll buy my own and hopefully hers.
Everything is possible. You can do it. You can do it.
Well, you're definitely in the right place.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
have good connections.
Yeah, I know, I think I know the fundamentals, but the fear sets in, right? Like, oh, I don't know. Something's holding me back. I don't know what it is. And I probably as soon as I do my first deal, I'm gonna just keep going. I know myself.
Yep. Yeah.
We're here to help.
We'll
I'm
let
here
you
to
we'll
help.
let you talk
Right.
with Coach Ivan.
Okay,
Yes.
Mindset, but no, but that's the first piece of it is the mindset.
yeah,
For
Mhm.
so many people that
Yes.
it's if you don't come from a background or a family that where you saw real estate investing, it's like because if you go talk to your peers, most of your peers are entrepreneurs, they're not real estate investors. And so when you talk to somebody, it's like, huh, you're doing what? It's like
Mm.
it's foreign. And so like you like where do I get that support? Or somebody to say, oh yeah, that happened. No, don't worry about that. Just do this and this, and it'll be fine. Just go ahead. You're good. Get back in there. And so, and I think that's the thing that with the community, whereas that you have like-minded people where you can share what's going on in your business, in your, investment portfolio, where, because I'm a true believer, iron sharpens iron. And so having that right people around you to motivate you and push you to success is all that's needed, especially if you had a desire that you just add that fuel to it.
yeah. It's the financing part. There's so many ways to do it,
Right.
right? That, oh gosh, that's the part that confuses me the most.
Well, if you're not busy tomorrow, I'm doing a deep dive for an hour on how to raise private money tomorrow night
Yeah,
for the community.
that's a great timing because that's what John is gonna be talking about
What time is it at?
tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right,
Yeah.
Johnny?
8 Eastern.
Okay, and where will it be?
In the community, it's gonna be via Zoom in the community.
Okay, all right. So just send me the link. I'll sign up by then.
Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
Awesome. I'm interested too. So you can send me the link too.
I'll send you guys a link.
Yep. You want to drop it in chat, Vic?
Okay.
Any last questions? I think we got your information for anybody that's interested, where they can reach out and contact you.
yes. So,
Yep,
I'm
we'll be adding the on the description box how you can contact Jay and know more about her and connect with her too. So, but thank you so much, Jay, for sharing and pushing value today. I mean tonight. It's always a pleasure, speaking with you all the time.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you invited me. I'm happy to be here. It's the reason for everything. That's why when somebody invites me, I always say yes. You never know where that leads you.
Yep, 100%. Well, awesome. Well, thank you again, and everybody have a great night. And if you can, make it out tomorrow night. We're gonna have a workshop talking about how to raise private money.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
We'll drop it in the comments.
Guys,
Thank you.